This isn't about who can hit harder. Not today. The dispute den has brought us together for something else. A chance to talk, not punch. Nolan, I know what it's like to be alien, to carry expectations across galaxies. But the way you twisted your purpose, that's not strength. That's surrender to something you were supposed to rise above.
You sound like a child reciting bedtime stories. Purpose isn't something you rise above, Clark. It's something you fulfill. You were raised to coddle weakness. I was born to correct it. You and I both know what power does to a man. The difference is, I never pretended it makes me human.
I was raised by people who taught me that strength doesn't entitle. It obligates. You had a family, a son, a planet willing to love you. And still, you crushed it beneath your heel the moment it inconvenienced your mission.
They don't revere you. They rely on you. And that's how they control you. I watched civilizations crumble because their strongest refused to lead. You protect them like fragile ornaments, hoping they'll love you back. I guided my world because I knew they wouldn't.
I protect them because they deserve the chance to become better. You didn't lead your world. You judged it, condemned it. And when your son questioned you, you beat him until the blood washed away the doubt. That's not guidance.
Mark needed to learn what the universe demands. Compromise is a myth. Mercy dilutes legacy. I didn't strike him to punish. I struck to awaken. You see bruises. I see lessons. And if Earth survives what's coming, it won't be because of your hope. It'll be because someone prepared it to suffer.
You taught your son to surrender before he even understood what resistance meant. I've faced tyrants, invaders, creatures that devour sons. But none of them frightened me like a father who justifies brutality with prophecy. You didn't prepare your son.
Erase? Number I offered him truth. He clung to fantasy. You act as though heritage can be undone by sentiment. He is Viltrumite, as am I, as you could have been. If only you'd shed this naive allegiance to a species that barely understands the stars, let alone what guards them.
Heritage isn't destiny. Krypton fell because it couldn't change. I swore Earth wouldn't follow that path. You use your bloodline like a crown, but I see it for what it is, a chain. Strength without compassion creates nothing worth saving. You survived a war. I chose to end them.
End them or postpone them? You refuse to acknowledge what strength demands? You play savior among insects? You perform humanity, but you'll outlive them all? And when the last one falls, you'll finally see what I've known since birth. Only those who rule endure. The rest are footnotes in dust.
Then let me be a footnote, if it means they get to write their own stories. I've seen humans at their worst, greedy, violent, afraid. But I've also seen them sacrifice for strangers, fight for dignity, build in the ashes. You never gave them the chance to surprise you.
Your sentimentality is a luxury of peace. You've never ruled. You've never had to make peace with necessity. I don't mourn the lives I took. I measure them against the lives they would have wasted. That's the burden of power.
You act like you carry weight. But every decision you made lifted something off you. Guilt, empathy, doubt. I carry them all. Every failure, every name I couldn't save. I wear that weight because it matters. Otherwise, what's the point of being strong at all?
The point, Clark, is not to feel better about yourself. It's to survive the truths others won't face. I don't feel guilt. I feel clarity. Every empire that endured was built by those willing to act without apology. You romanticize struggle. I replaced it with progress, one command at a time.
I've rebuilt cities after men like you turned them into monuments of obedience. I didn't win with heat vision or brute force. I won by helping people believe they could stand without me. You tear out the spine and call it evolution.
I need order. Order requires decisions the crowd will never understand. I watched you on your pedestal, always waiting, always hoping. But the day will come when Earth won't need a savior. It'll need a ruler, and no one will ask your permission.
Then they'll find another way. They always do, even without me. That's the difference between us. I don't want them to need me. You need to be needed. You crave dominion to hide the fear that without control, your purpose collapses. That's not vision. That's desperation wrapped in ideology.
Be careful, Clark. You're describing yourself. You watch every street, every heartbeat. You hover because you have to. You trust them as far as your hearing can reach. Don't pretend you aren't afraid of what they become without your shadow looming. The only difference is, I admit what I am.
I hover because I care. And when I descend, it's to catch, not control. You watch from above, waiting to correct. I watch to understand. I've knelt beside dying soldiers and held broken fathers. Not because I had to, but because they matter. You only descend to remind them who owns the sky.
They never owned it to begin with. You speak of empathy as if it's currency. It's not. It's liability. I descend to shape, to forge. Not everyone deserves a gentle hand. Sometimes survival demands cruelty. The sooner you accept that, the fewer illusions you'll have to bury with them.
I'd rather bury illusions than bury humanity. You speak of forging, but you only hammer down. I've watched people fail, fall, betray, and still, I return. Because some of them rise, some of them change. You never waited long enough to see that. You wrote them off like expired tools.
Because sentiment slows evolution. You keep returning because you hope. I leave when I know. I've ended worlds where compromise meant extinction. Earth isn't special.
Then come for it. But don't expect surrender. Not from me. Not from them. You mistake survival for obedience. But when the sky darkens and everything feels lost, these people fight. I've seen it. Not for glory, not for orders, but for each other.
Defiance is noise before collapse, and when it fades, I'll be the one writing what comes next. You think I don't understand strength. I am strength, unflinching, untouched. You're still playing savior in a world that doesn't need saving. It needs shaping. And history won't remember who gave hope, only who won.
I fight because even one child waking up free is worth facing giants. You'll rule ashes. I'll guard what's left of the living. And when they rise, you'll hear their heartbeat, louder than yours ever was.
Then guard them. Watch them fracture under freedom. Pretend your sacrifice held meaning while their bones line the road to progress. You'll fall first, Clark, and when the dust settles, they'll build what I promised them all along, a world where mercy doesn't get in the way of survival.